going on here? Don't you think all these lights are a little excessive, Doug?
No, we just wanted to talk to you about 2025 and how that went for you.
2025, really? Starting in January, we broke an axle, which is basically started the snowball effect. The rear end housing was pretty much gone. Went to Camberg and got a new rear end housing, new hubs, new axles, rebuilt third member, rebuilt drive shaft, rebuilt transmission. And the motor we already knew was on its last leg. Go to speed metal and blow the motor on the jump. Motor replacement.
Yeah, so after the motor replacement, you were good to go, right?
It's not that simple. Issues with the intake, exhaust gases coming out underneath the truck, aerodynamics, flow, intake, shielding, major heat issues. You know, some days I just want to light the thing on fire anyways.
All right, so as far as Flight School Season 2, do you have any locations in mind?
You know, truthfully, I haven't thought about Flight School Season 2. With all the issues that we've had over the last 8 months, I haven't had a chance to even think. I always knew we wanted to keep going. And one thing's for certain, we weren't done at Swing Arm City.
All right, I guess this interview's done.
Finally back out in here in Swing Arm City after a year and a half. We are at a location that is the Sand Hill. I think some people call it the Silt Hill, but it's basically the second most famous feature out here, probably under the knife edge. And it's famous because the dirt bike riders hit this thing sideways. They call it the ski jump. And they found a creative line off the top of the mountain, jumping all the way down. That's the reason why we came to this spot, to make it a location, because we thought maybe we could do the same thing in the truck. With freestyle pre-running out here, it's nice to be able to look at video on YouTube and then try to mimic kind of what the dirt bike guys are doing. It helps out tremendously, because if you were out here and you didn't have any information on the place, you know, you'd have to do it all alone. And so shout out to all the guys that come out to Swing Arm City on their dirt bikes. Usually a bunch of Utah guys, some Southern California guys. This jump right here will be the largest step down that I've ever hit in the truck. It's like 100+ feet tall and super sketchy. When you come over the top of this thing, you can't see the ground for, I don't know, 4 seconds or so. One of the more technical aspects about the ski jump is that speed is critical off this thing. 3 miles an hour will make a huge difference on how far you jump down the mountain. 3 miles an hour might equate to 20, 30 feet additional distance down the mountain. So you can only imagine, you know, an extra 10 mile an hour or 15 miles an hour, how much that would equate to coming down the mountain. And you really don't want to go all the way to the bottom on this thing. You're talking 100 feet tall. You will smash your truck if you land at the bottom of this thing. So you want to stay on the transition and not too far. So when you're going off the top of the lip, really want to ease yourself into it. Hit it at 30, hit it at 35, hit it at 38, hit it at, you know, it's hard to get those 1 or 2 mile an hour increments, but you really have to do that, because you don't want to accidentally hit this thing at like 55 miles an hour or something and then, you know, fly to flat, smash your truck and probably get hurt, injured. You know, you don't get any extra points for going out there the first try and jumping all the way to the bottom. Like, you know, you're coming out here to have fun, not to get hurt and destroy your truck. So it's very important to just ease into these types of jumps on a step down that's 100 feet tall. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get in the truck, warm it up, get the gear on, helmets, everything, and time to send it, brother. All right, we had a long day of jump hunting yesterday, and towards the end there, we were coming up short, but Dweezy Films comes through in the clutch. He finds this sideways hit off of a berm. It's a pretty tall berm here. We're talking like 25 feet high, totally blind landing on the other side. We're gonna have our PCI radios handy on us, make sure we're spotting. A lot of the jumps out here are blind. The reason why it's blind like this is because it's very peaky around here. Everything is steep, everything's tall, and when you come out here and try to hit some of these jumps, you're gonna want to make sure that you have your spotter on the other side. We got motorcycles crisscrossing all over the place today, and we wanna make sure that we're staying safe, wearing helmets, having spotters, all of that. This jump right here is a pretty high-speed jump. It's second gear, half RPM-ish, and there's like a long landing on the other side. Again, just like always, we're gonna do a few test runs on this for speed, make sure that we're not just hitting this full throttle first try, and then we'll work our way up little by little, and then hopefully try to max it out today.
All right, you're clear.
Coming down. For the planning of this episode in Swing Arm City, we decided that we wanted to find a wall jump. We've hit a couple wall jumps in some of the other episodes, and we were like, we need to go out there and look for one. I know there's some out here, so this is what we found. It's very intimidating. It's straight up and down. It's actually a berm. I'm sure it doesn't do it justice on camera, but this thing's massive. One of the things on these wall jumps is they're basically slow speed, first gear hits. It's gonna pop the truck super high in the air. And then these are jumps where you really need your suspension, because on the backside, it's a really slight downhill. It's not like a super steep downhill, like a dirt bike jump. It's more of a flatlander. There's a little bit of a downhill, but not enough to take away the force. So when you land on these, you're gonna be using all your suspension, all your bumps, everything you got. So we're gonna go over here and kind of do a rundown of how the shocks are set up. Right, we're over here on the driver's side rear of the truck, and we want to talk about the 3.0 coil over here and the 4.5 King bypass. They're both Kings, I-box springs. We'll start in the front. The coilover doesn't have a lot of crazy valving in it. It does have some valving, but the main thing is this bottom spring here. It's going to resist all the bottom out force. So you do have dampening in the bypass, but the spring rate in this is going to resist the bottom out force. So this is very important. Everybody thinks, oh, bypasses, but your coilover is very important for bottoming out on this. Now, the bypass will also slow down with the compression and the rebound. This is not set up like a trophy truck. So trophy trucks are gonna be much softer than this. This is set up for freestyle pre-running, and we have a ton more compression in these tubes. Your bottom adjustments here will be for compression, and your top adjustments will be for rebound. What you want to do in the rear is you want super tight compression. Obviously, this long tube is going to be your bump zone, so this one goes in is further than these other ones. And then we got the mid tube and the other ride height tube back here. They're going to be progressive as far as how they're set, but this will be your stiffest one. And then the rebound in the rear, you want to keep it tight as well. So you want good rebound dampening in the rear, and when you come off the jump, they stay tucked for a while and then they slowly come out, and that keeps you from bucking on these jumps. So that's pretty much the setup in the rear. The setup in the front, compression is very similar to this, just high compression. And then in the front though, you want loose rebound dampening, so that when you have a high spring rate in the front and loose rebound, you'll pop off the front of the jump, and the front will actually kick up, and that'll keep you from bucking as well. So those two combinations together will keep you safe. These shocks have just been rebuilt by SDG, and fair warning, I don't consider myself a professional on shock tuning or anything like that. These guys know what they're doing. They go through all my shocks, they set all the shims and all that stuff. I just know a little bit about spring rates and adjusting the bypasses, but other than that, SCG, they take care of my shocks about every year and a half. They need to get fully gone through. Otherwise, you're just riding around on shocks that are blown out. It's not fun to go out there and hit these big jumps with shocks that are blown out. It starts to put extra load on the chassis, and then you just end up wearing through your parts. And so you got to keep up on your shocks. It keeps your truck solid off these jumps out there. We're gonna go ahead and hit this wall jump. This thing's massive, can't wait to do it.